Welcome to the Magic Live postgame show presented by Advent Health. Magic needing stops late in that fourth quarter. And how about the step-back three with just over 3 minutes to go? 3 of his 40 points for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he's the reigning MVP for a reason.
Yes, he is.
That guy has had big performance after big performance this year, and he got another one tonight with 32 points from Paulo Banchero. And listen, the Magic gave the defending champs all they could handle. Had a chance. This was a 2-point game with about 5 minutes to go. A horrible overruling by the replay center in Secaucus. I don't know why we even go there if they're going to make that decision 1,500 miles away, but that kind of changed things. And also, Brian, you just couldn't knock down enough shots to beat the defending champs. You got to have a lot of guys that get hot down the stretch, and you didn't get a ton of contributions other than Paulo's 32.
Yeah, no, it was a tough night for a lot of guys, and we didn't get a whole lot from our bench other than Jevon Carter. But we just went through that drought, the big drought at the end of the third quarter there. We only had one field goal in the last 4 minutes, and they went on a 12-2 run. The SGA had 7 of the 12.
Yeah, right.
And, it was kind of touch and go from there, but that really hurt us. And then their second unit, especially Jalen Williams, he hurt us in the second half.
Yes.
After not making a 3 the entire first half, he came out and made a couple of them when they needed them. And
had 10 field goal attempts from Banchero in the first half, 11 in the second half. This might have been the night to give him 30 attempts the way he was feeling, because you're going to get almost 30 attempts from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He was terrific again here tonight. The second leading scorer in the NBA, the reigning MVP. He's our Planet Fitness top performer, and the Magic did about as good a job as you can do on him. He was 14 for 27, but in 36 minutes, he still gets 40 points here tonight.
They really did do a pretty good job. He's an exceptional player, and especially when he's attacking the basket. And he's as good as anybody in the league at taking the ball to contact and initiating the contact like he did right there with Jevon Carter. But it doesn't matter how big the guy is.
Right.
In the new rule of being able to extend your arm and push the defender out of the way, he's great at it, and it opens up that space for him to finish at the rim.
We've seen him make the step backs. It's now 129 straight games that he's gone for 20 or more. These are his last 4 appearances in Orlando, right? He gets you the 40 tonight. Before that, it was 35, 32, 33. He's one of, if not the greatest player in the NBA for a reason.
Well, the reigning MVP, no question about it. And, you have to rank him up there with, without a doubt, the top 2 or 3 guys in the league, depending upon what you're looking for, what position, but just an exceptional player.
Well, he certainly is. Get you 40 here tonight. A night after his cousin went for 41. We're done with the Alexander family.
Tired of seeing that name.
Tired of seeing it. But give him credit. He gets the 40 here tonight. And for the Magic, as we look at our Advent Health highlights, how about Paulo Banchero? This was a night that I thought he had it, Brian. If ever there was a night to just force-feed the guys, just felt like tonight would have been that night. 32 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists for P5.
Well, exactly what you would expect in the third quarter. You knew SGA was going to come out and try to take over the game, and you kind of had a feeling Paulo was going to try to do the same thing. And obviously, Paulo also, like SGA, great at taking contact and finishing at the rim.
Tough finishes in the painted area as we look at his shot chart here tonight. Got, 7 baskets in the painted area. He finishes 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. He just had that look in his eye here tonight, Coach, as he finishes 12 of 21 from the floor. Just an incredibly efficient night from P5.
Yeah, he was the guy tonight. There was no question about it. I think he realized coming into that third quarter, he's not getting a lot of help from a lot of other people in that first half.
Correct.
And he has that mentality as a player, like, I'm going to have to do more. I'm going to have to put this team on my shoulders and will us to a win. And he did his very best tonight.
He did. And to only award him with 6 free throws tonight was pretty poor, I thought as well. But, hey, he gave it everything he had with that 32-point performance. Look at our final stats here tonight. Magic did a much better job than they did in that first meeting. And with Papa John's new Papa Track, you'll know exactly when your pizza will arrive, so you'll never miss a shot. Tough to win a game against the champs when you shoot 40% from the floor. You did knock down 17 threes, but, Brian, I don't know that we want to take 50 of them in a basketball game.
Yeah, 50's a tough number for us. We're not a great percentage-wise, a great three-point shooting team, but if you can't get inside and at least you're getting decent looks from 3, then you don't have much of a choice. But you see OKC again goes to the line 27 times. They out-rebounded us again like they did last time. And a significant difference, 22 points in the paint difference. And that was big.
Well, you knew that'd be hard to score in the paint, and they kind of got away from it shooting those 53s. But, hey, again, this was a 2-point game with about 5 minutes left. And on the second night of a back-to-back, 7th game in 10 nights, they gave OKC all they could handle. You didn't get a ton of others that were chipping in with big nights, but as we look at your baller, Brian, where are you going here tonight?
Well, we only have one guy in double figures, and the guy has been steady for us. Jevon Carter came in 4 for 11 from the floor. Yeah, playing with his little girl right there before a nice finish right there. Again, getting into the body of the defender and creating some space, and a little in-between jumper. As I said, the only one of our bench guys that finished in double figures tonight. And he always does a good job at the defensive end of the floor.
Obviously, that's going to help when you get Franz and Anthony Black back. But how do we, the rest of the bench that wasn't Jevon Carter goes 3 for 17. He was 4 for 11, and that's not counting 2 guys that played a total of 11 minutes and didn't take a shot. How do we get more out of that second unit, Coach?
Well, the second unit, the way it's comprised now, you know, you're coming in with Jevon, obviously. Jett Howard, you put in the game to see if he can make threes.
Right.
And that's basically the reason he's in the game. He wasn't able to do that tonight. He was 1 for 6 from the floor. Mo Wagner, also 1 for 6. Mo, usually you put in for energy, good defense, and hope that at the offensive end of the floor he's able to make somewhat of a contribution.
Right.
But then after that, Noah Penda, Jamal Cain, those are guys that if everybody was healthy, wouldn't really be playing any type of significant minutes at all. So Coach Mosley's doing the best he can with the second unit right now with Franz and with AB out. But obviously we need everybody at full strength for that second unit to be effective.
Yeah, and with that being said, and not getting a huge lift from that second unit, boy, you still were right there against the Oklahoma City Thunder. But they've got so many weapons. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and how consistent the entire season, and a terrific finish from Wendell right there. Well, Magic, we're close. Let's hear how it got away from Orlando tonight. Let's check in with head coach Jamal Mosley following this one.
You know, we fouled him early, found a rhythm, and then you couldn't really touch him after that. And, you know, he got himself going, getting downhill, tried to get out of his hands a ton of times, and he finds a way. He's slippery, getting to the rim. Then when that shot's falling in the 3-ball, he's a hard guard.
How tough was tonight for your bench unit tonight?
You see it.
Just what was the message to the group after this?
Bounce back. At the end, here's the thing. We talk about one game at a time. And, you know, last night we didn't get what we wanted as a result. Tonight you didn't get the result you wanted. But are we playing the right type of basketball? I think we did some good things tonight, but I think there's a lot we can grow from and learn from, and we're going to have to do that going to Charlotte. You know, that's the next game. That's what we've got to focus on, and how do we get that one done?
Coach, we talked before the game about how you limit SGA, but when he gets to the line with such regularity, does it kind of take you out of your rhythm defensively, or like force you into a change of game plan at all?
You try not to, you know what I mean? But again, he had 3 shooting fouls, you know, or two shooting fouls in the first half, and that's tough because you want to guard them a certain way. You're physical with them, but anytime you get near him, you know, they're looking to blow that whistle. And again, he's a hard person to referee, and I respect to them for being able to figure that out. But he does an unbelievable job of manipulating that. So there's times that you got to get out of his hands, but he finds a way to get it back. It finds him at the end of the clock. You know, there's a couple little mispossessions that we could have come up with when we did make them miss, but as well as, you know, trying to continue to turn them over.
But y'all went down double digits in that second quarter, but Paulo kind of was able to lead that group back into it. You know, how important is it to have Paulo there that can take over a game like that for your group?
Yeah, it's big. I mean, his ability to get downhill in that quarter, you know, stepped in, made some big shots, made the right plays, was attacking the basket, you know, trying to get himself to the free throw line, which is amazing to me that as many downhill attacks that he has, he only had 6 free throws. But again, he's a guy that's going to continue to attack, and that's what we need him to do, to create problems at the rim, to be able to find our shooters.
The game was tight heading into those final 4 or 5 minutes. and it just seemed like Oklahoma City made the plays. In playoff games, like that's kind of what decides a lot of those games in those series. How valuable is this experience, and what do you need to see better against some of these elite defenses as you get ready for the postseason?
Well, I think coming down the stretch, our ability to continue to attack the basket, find the right play. We had some great looks, down the stretch. They didn't go in, and OKC, capitalized on those. Getting out in transition, and Shai made some big plays down the stretch. That's why he's MVP race, leading.
Kind of remind yourself or remind the team that the margins can be that small. Like you make a shot at a key moment, it flips momentum the other way. Is that important?
That's the game. That's the game. A big stop, a big shot down the stretch. That's what happens. You look back at the Cleveland game, and that's what it tended to be. One shot made, one shot missed. They hit some big shots. We hit some big shots, and tonight that was very similar. But again, our ability to get stops down the stretch and make sure we take care of the basketball at all times in order to get those possessions.
Did you see anything that led?
There you go, Magic head coach Jamal Mosley, and he's right. Boy, the officials cannot wait to put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the line. Only got there 11 times, didn't make 9 of them here tonight, but it's a make or miss league, and some of those shots you made in that 7-game win streak, boy, you had some good looks. Just couldn't knock down enough the final 5 minutes. Yeah,
we just went through a big drought there in the fourth quarter where we really struggled to find shots. I think at the 8:20 mark, we were up 1. It was 90-89. We were 2 for 10 on our next 10 possessions, 2 field goals, and they were only 2 for 11 in their possessions during that same stretch. So, we had a chance to try and open it up a little bit right there, but just couldn't find a bucket when we needed it and when we were playing good defense. Yeah, you had a 7-point lead, and you ended up getting outscored 14-2 to close out that third quarter. That certainly hurt you as well, but that's what OKC does. Magic were in it. Let's hear from Desmond Bane following this one here tonight against OKC.
Des, obviously, that's as tough a group as it comes across the way there, but when you look back